Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome everybody. It is today's fertility Q&A on the 2nd of September. Where's the time gone? Hope you've had a beautiful start to your week, a beautiful start to your month. And I'm just going to refresh my page. When I last looked, there were 29 comments. So I look forward to answering them as per usual. Of course, welcome people who are watching live. And we've now had a request not to mention people's names, even if you're watching live. So I'm just going to welcome you, sending you some love. Give me a hi if you want me to say your name. Otherwise, just know that I can see you here and sending you some love and appreciation for attending live. I know that some of you can't do it and it's not an issue. It's great that you are watching the replay. It's great that you integrate the replay. So big congratulations to those who are integrating the replays, because it's so important that you just have these touch points. There's a lot of energy that gets transferred beyond these questions. So there's my energy. I'm in the fertility realm. I've been in this realm for 20 years nearly. And the healing realm for much longer, since 2003. So, that's 22 years. So I also through meditations and things like that. So I'm here to give you more than just the science, just the physiology. So it's great that you're getting your touch points and listening to the replays. Now, we also need to arrange a deep dive for this month before I leave for Australia on the 22nd of September. The 23rd of September, I will not be doing a live that week, but you can post your questions as per normal and I'll answer them. They, in written form, and I'll put that up in the app. So pretty much what you're already seeing, but without the audio transcript. And also I will be in Australia for 3 months until the end of the year. So I'll be serving people in Australia, doing workshops and whatnot. They will be recorded workshops. You'll be able to access them as well. And if you are part of this group, you get to attend my workshops for free. So congratulations, and let's get started. So, the other thing I wanted to mention is what I want to do, because some people are getting blocked from Facebook. You can see my videos get pulled down very quickly from Facebook, is we're going to do the lives on Zoom. I'll feed them into Facebook. But that way, if you don't have access to Facebook, you can still access it via Zoom. And also getting rid of this Facebook portal soon. And you can post your questions anonymously. You have to literally write your name. So it can be an anonymous name. And don't worry, I can sense who you are. Onto a page on my website. So I'm going to start integrating that. So you'll see the new live Q&A banners like you normally see in Facebook, but it'll be on my website in a special section, which I'll send to you. Post your questions in there. I'll go live in Zoom and then post it all into the app, which of course you could enjoy the app on your iPad and on your computer. It doesn't just have to be on your phone. Okay, let's get going with the first question. Hi Fiona, I'm on the following supplements, as you know: marine phytoplankton from Powerfully Pure, MSM from Powerfully Pure, Qenda, which is an anti-parasitic supplement for getting rid of worms and whatnot, Thai black ginger from Powerfully Pure, Castor Oil Kit from Powerfully Pure. I've just realized, are you taking the hormone balancing blend? Not that you need to, but I just wanted to check, because that would have been good, but just wondering where you are with that. The other thing is, it's essential for you to take or have the Heavy Metal Detox, because if you're doing the parasite cleanse, parasites, they are killed off with things like Qenda, but parasites, whilst they're living with you, are actually keeping heavy metals at bay. So yes, it's destroying your gut health. Yes, it's destroying nutrients. Yes, it's draining your energy, but they are helping to eradicate heavy metals. So when you get rid of your parasites, you have to simultaneously do a heavy metal detox. That is essential. So please make sure you're doing that heavy metal detox. And it's easy to have the heavy metal detox after the MSM or after the Qenda. Your question though is, what time of the day do I need to take Myoinositol and the Homocysteine Support and the Prenatal? Should I take these in the afternoon at the same time that I take my Thai black ginger and marine phytoplankton, or should I be spreading it out, taking these at night? Also, what do you think about us eating organic beef sausages? Is it good or bad? Etc, etc. Also ask a question about coconut milk. So I've just wanted to respond to these one by one. Okay, so when do you take Myoinositol? Myoinositol is best split in 2 doses daily, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening, ideally away from large meals to support stable insulin and hormone signaling. Because remember, it's a sugar. Okay, it's got a lot of benefits, but it's still a sugar. And this is why we can't have other sugars, and the body doesn't respond well to other sugars, especially if you're already on things like Myoinositol, which is proven to improve egg health. So, you know, we want to be doing that. It's a special type of sugar, so it's not just any sugar. Normal sugar acts like razor blades in the body. Okay, it's really bad. It's also affects the brain like cocaine. Homocysteine Support, this is from Viridian. But also if you're on Impryl, it's the same thing, or a methylation blend. Please, this is best taken in the morning with food, as it contains activated B vitamins that can be very energizing. You always want to have your B vitamins and D vitamins in the morning. Prenatal, best taken midday with food after the morning detox supplements, so it's not wasted by binders with the MSM or the Qenda. Taking it with lunch also helps with energy and reduces any nausea, because a lot of people have that dip after lunch, and normally if you're having a prenatal, they will include some Bs and possibly even Ds, so don't have it any later than, you know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at the push. Because remember, especially with vitamin D, it's like sunshine. So you're waking your body up. You really want to have that, you know, morning, midday, not too much, and, you know, in the afternoon, not beyond 2. So for you, in the morning, Myoinositol, first dose, Homocysteine Support with food after your detox phase. So you wake up, you detox, you wait, you then have your breakfast or your smoothie, whatever you're having, with your homocysteine and Myoinositol. Midday lunch, you have your prenatal marine phytoplankton and Thai black ginger. Evening, your second dose of Myoinositol, and then you do your castor oil pack in the morning, in the evening as well. You can do the castor oil any time, but it makes sense to do it in the evening because you've then got your pajamas on, or some pajamas that you don't mind getting ruined, because the castor oil is very sticky and doesn't wash out very well. So you know, put your old pajamas on, it soaks into the skin. I've done it in the mornings before, and then you end up ruining your clothes that you're wearing out throughout the day. So yeah, you don't want to ruin your clothes. So Qenda, you can have morning or evening, but always 2 hours away from food and supplements. And remember, you need to drink at least 500 mils, so it's half a litre. So if I was doing it in the afternoon, because I have done it on and off as well over the years, I would have it around 5 p.m. But because it pushes through the bowels very quickly, I noticed that I would be wanting to wake up at 4 to go to the loo. So if that didn't work, then I'd have to eat dinner by 5, Qenda by 7, and then I can, you know, wake up in the morning at a more decent time, like 6 a.m. So working with your bowels. This is your routine. You don't have to be very regimented. You need to work in with your body and just get a vague idea. That's why I say, you know, morning to 2 p.m. for your vitamin D. You know, like you've got that range, but morning to 12 p.m. is probably better. Okay. So I've given you more information as well. So a sample daily schedule could be on an empty stomach, MSM with Celtic sea salt. You want to have that in warm water, but if you're adding a Vitsi to it, you don't want that to be warm. So it's going to be more room temperature. Fresh lemon juice, wait 20 minutes, have your Heavy Metal Detox, have a 2-hour gap, have your Homocysteine Support and your Myoinositol first dose, mid-morning with fat. You want to be having your marine phytoplankton, Thai black ginger, PQQ, CoQ10, your biquinol, whichever one you've got, and omega-3, which is the additional cod liver or krill. Lunchtime, you've got your prenatal. In the afternoon, optional, you have your adaptogens. So anything with your medicinal mushrooms, so the reishi, etc. Vitsi, some people like to have a Vitsi then in a smoothie. They have shine in the morning. From the Healthy Pure range, you have any kind of herbs or You know, male formulas are always really good in the afternoon as well. And then in the evening, you've got your second dose of myoinositol, your magnesium glycinate, your reishi if you're stressed and you haven't had it that day. At night, you've got your castor oil kit. It's an external ritual. And then, of course, a lot of people prefer their probiotics before bed. But, you know, you've got choices. Then about the milk question, you'd actually said, sorry, beef sausages, I said yes, go ahead, especially as in Australia, they're all gluten-free. If you're getting organic ones, it will be organic rice flour and beef. So, you know, the rice flour isn't ideal. It's not meant to be eaten every day, but it's not bad if that's the only carbs you're getting. And of course, you know, you may not be on carnivore or even ketovore, so that's okay. But look at the percentage of the rice versus the meat. If you are on ketovore, maybe that's the maximum amount of sugar you can have because rice gets converted to sugar in the body. You asked, I really love drinking hot chocolate and I use store-bought almond or store-bought coconut milk. Is that bad? Should I give it up? I don't really have time to make my own nut milk. Thank you in advance. And I've said your nut milk should have 4 ingredients only. The nut, be it coconut, almond, etc. The water, the salt. Now, the other ingredients is sometimes they mix another nut. So sometimes it would be like a little bit of almond with it, or I don't know. Sometimes they put cashews. It depends on the brand. It depends on the country. But you want the nut, the water, the salt as the primary one. An additional nut blend. So maximum 4 ingredients. You don't want carrageenan. You don't want E numbers. You don't want stabilizers. And remember, it's in a Tetra Pak. So you do have some heavy metal exposure in that because it's aluminium lined. So you also want to be maintaining your heavy metal detox. So you could have cream, organic cream, if your body can tolerate dairy. There's no sugar in that. The worst of the nut milks is oat milk. It's not even a nut. It's just like sugar water. So be mindful of that. And a lot of it in the UK is blended with oil. Now you'll see sunflower oil as one of the main ingredients of blending, which is highly inflammatory. So we don't want to have anything that's inflammatory. So if I make my own nut milk, it's super easy. You know, I soak my nuts overnight, throw the bowl of water away that they were soaking in, chuck it in my Vitamix high-speed blender. The more water I add, the less creamy it is. But then, because it's all chunky and I don't have time to put it through a nut milk bag, which is actually really easy, just put it in the nut milk bag, squeeze it all out. I mean, you can do the whole thing in 5 minutes, literally, but I don't even do that. And what I do, I mean, I haven't done this for years because I've been more carnivore. What I do is I just mix it into like a chia pudding. So the base chunky bits is more of a chia pudding, but the watery bits I'd use is more of like a milk for hot chocolates and things. So play around with it. Doing it on your own without a nut milk bag, it can be a little crunchy because you've got the nuts that you haven't fully cleared. I mean, cashews work the best. They're the creamiest without the chunks. But you know, the body doesn't digest cashews so well, and almonds are better than cashews. But you know, you can mix hazelnuts. You can do. I like to add vanilla. There's some amazing high quality vanilla that I actually import over to the UK from Australia. It's organic Madagascan, so it's medicinal grade. I also use medicinal grade Ceylon cinnamon. It's the only cinnamon that has all the benefits. So you can play around with it to make it sweet and nice. You know, when I first started making my nut milks, I had such a major sweet tooth that I'd add dates to it as well. 1 or 2. It doesn't last long in the fridge. You've got to really consume it within 2 days. Airtight container, glass bottle. But it's doable and it's much easier than you think if you cannot get clean nut milks. There's a really good brand called Plenish. Doesn't taste the best though, you know? So I don't even know if you can get Plenish in Australia, but if you can, I know that it is pure. Second best on the market would be Rude Health, but you've got to read the ingredients because sometimes they add sunflower oil, sometimes they don't. The ones on the shelf seem to be better ingredients than the ones in the fridge. Same brand. You know, it could be coconut milk in the fridge versus coconut milk on the shelf. Very different ingredients. Always read the ingredients of every single thing you pick up. And every time you buy a product from a company, even if you've been buying from them for years and I've recommended them, they might have changed their ingredients. So please, please, please look. And if you're listening to old replays and I'm talking about supplements that I recommend, if it's more than, I don't know, 6 months old, read the ingredients. Don't just take my word from it. They might have been bought out. They might have changed their label. Next question. Good morning, Fiona and everyone in the group. I hope you're doing really well. I wanted to share that over the past month, I've been experiencing noticeable hair loss. The only significant change I've made recently is switching to a ketogenic diet since April the 20th. My hairdresser mentioned that seasonal hair loss is quite common around this time of year at the end of summer, but I wanted to check with you and your thoughts. Now, this question came through privately, and I said, look, this is such a good question to have in the group because I think, you know, a lot of women go through phases of hair loss. And it is true. At the end of summer, going into autumn, you can shed more hair. We grow a lot more hair. Our nails grow faster, our hair grows faster, our skin replenishes faster in the summer months. As we're beginning to cool down, we can lose our hair a little bit, not much. So it's not like big clumps and chunks, okay? That's a hormonal problem. Could also be triggered from a dietary problem. So let me just read through what I've said. And honestly, thank you for sharing this and being so vulnerable with it, because hair loss can feel very unsettling. You know, it's our security blanket. I mean, I can't style my hair. I tried to do a nice style today. I was going to have my hair out. I was just like, no, I can just have a quiff instead. So yeah, our hair is really an extension of our health as well as our beauty. So seasonal shedding. Yes, your hairdresser is correct that many people experience increased hair shedding at the end of summer, early autumn. This is a natural renewal phase and usually balances on its own, but it shouldn't be that noticeable. Okay, so if you're noticing it's really thin at the scalp, then we have an issue. Hormonal shifts. Hair is very, very sensitive to hormonal fluctuations. So low estrogen, thyroid imbalances, past stress, hormone dips, these can all trigger shedding. Because you are trying to conceive, it's worth keeping an eye on your thyroid function, especially free T3, free T4, and ferritin, so part of the iron levels. Low thyroid and low iron are two of the most common causes of diffuse hair loss in women. So if your iron's low, you know, and some of this is all triggered from heavy metals, you know, heavy metal toxicity and xenoestrogens, the fake estrogens. So if you've got fake estrogen exposure, the phthalates, the plastics, etc., you know, you might go out with friends and have a cup of tea. You're thinking you're healthy, but you're having it in a disposable cup that is lined in plastic with hot water. It's leaching into your body, affecting your thyroid, affecting your hair. So yes, when you do a diet transition, sometimes things can happen, but normally it's when it's a diet where you are depriving yourself of nutrients. Fertility diets are the opposite. We need to give our bodies more nutrients. It's more, not less. So the keto transition, when you switch to a ketogenic diet, your body is adjusting to a new fuel system. During this transition, it can be common to shed hair, but it's if you have problems absorbing the nutrients. Okay, so I think check your gut health. You need to have more protein. The thing is, a lot of people dive into the fat sometimes, because I'm always saying, you know, balance your hormones with fat, and they're not having enough protein. So make sure that you're having enough protein and fat, because hair is made of protein, that's keratin. So your minerals, especially B vitamins, as well as biotin. Biotin helps to strengthen hair, skin, nails. So does your MSM. The zinc, selenium, B12 and folate, they work together. They're not going to be in your food sources. You do need to supplement with them. Minerals and B vitamins are indicative of your hair quality. So if you are getting the supplements and you are having the good food sources, again, it cycles back to gut problems. You're not absorbing. So you need digestive enzymes, maybe some hydrochloric acid, maybe some ox bile, just to help the body. Maybe some, more probiotics. When your calories are too restricted, the body will divert away from non-essential functions like hair. So again, it's a sign your body's not absorbing nutrients, your body's not getting enough nutrients. So the hair is one of the last things to get the nutrients along with your reproductive system. So your hair is a good indicator of your reproductive health as well. Not the number one indicator, but it's just showing you when there's shifts and changes, okay? So the fertility link. From a fertility perspective, hair health is a reflection of your nutrient reserves and hormone balance. If your hair is shedding, your body is asking for extra nourishment. So check your iron, check your thyroid, check your ferritin, which should ideally be above 70 for fertility and hair growth. Thyroid needs to be fully assessed, not just TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone, but remember the reverse T3. Increase your protein, include collagen from bone broth. You could use collagen powder, I prefer bone broth, but remember, you make it on the day, you either consume it on the day or you freeze it. So you're managing your histamines, which causes inflammation in the body. Your zinc and selenium, as you know, you can have Brazil nuts. Selenium is in Brazil nuts, you only need 3 a day maximum, but you might be getting it from other sources as well, if you're on the more carnivore diet. Strict clean ketovore for you, please. Absolutely no sugar, no processed carbohydrates, because these will trigger insulin spikes and that will worsen hair loss as it disrupts your hormones. Castor oil. So yes, you usually put it on your womb, your ovaries, your liver for detox, but you can also put the oil in your hair and use it as a hair mask. I always do this once a week. So when my hair needs a wash, I'll add the oil. Now it's very, very thick, very sticky, and if you've got weak hair, it can break your hair. So you always want to mix it with things like coconut, which is antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. Mix it with some rosemary oil to help stimulate the follicles and the hair growth. And a lot of women will also mix the miracle oil from the Powerfully Pure range as well. So you've got all these squirts in your hand and then you're putting it in. It's not like you can just put it in like that. So sometimes I'll wet my hair, or I'll wet my hair with a nettle water spray, and then I'll put that in because it's kind of easier to put into wet hair. And then I'll leave it throughout the day, go to bed with it, but on a towel because it will, stain your bed cover, and then, or pillow cover, and then I'll wash it out in the morning. So food for thought, you want that into the scalp because it stimulates hair growth. And I help to regrow my eyebrows because when I had adrenal fatigue, I lost a lot of my eyebrows, and now I've regrown them, which is really nice. And I put the castor oil on my eyebrows. Years ago, I used to wear fake lashes, literally waxed them off because they were in lines and I wasn't getting them individually done. This was back in the early 2000s. And I'd go out and see, very wealthy private clients for their fertility yoga and fertility coaching and stuff. And I'd go around to their homes and I wanted to look amazing. And so one time I just ripped off my lashes instead of removing them with oil, and I literally waxed them off, and it took years to grow them back, but the castor oil helped. So, there's things out there, it does genuinely work. The castor oil in the Powerfully Pure range is edible. Not that I want you to eat it, but you want to have that high quality, hexane-free, organic, because what goes on the skin goes straight into the bloodstream, and we need to support ourselves. Next question, Fiona, additionally, I'd like your opinion on the supplement tryptophan, which is in the photo. Of course, I've noticed great improvement with the washing machine, the yoga exercise, which is part of Qigong. But for example, last night I tried to change my sleep schedule, and although I went to bed at 10, I woke up after 4 hours, and today I feel overstimulated. In such cases, if I take tryptophan for 1 or 2 nights, my sleep gets regulated. However, I'm not sure whether it's beneficial or burdensome. Yeah, it's okay. Tryptophan's a good one to have. And I do like your tryptophan that you found, the 220 milligram one by Viridian. However, Viridian adds spirulina to it. So the spirulina is very cooling for fertility. You need to have it with something warming. So have that with your Thai black ginger because that's also warming the body. So we want to balance the spirulina. Spirulina is okay in the summer, but still with warming herbs. In the winter, we need double the warming herbs. So make sure that, you know, you're having chili or other warming things. Ginger, especially the Thai black ginger. Things that help to warm the body when you're having a cooling herb. Next question, Fiona, I hope you're doing well. I've been reviewing my supplements and notes in detail, and I love to clarify a few things with you. Thank you so much for always sharing your knowledge so generously. You're very welcome, beautiful woman. It helps me to stay on track and get rid of old habits. Okay, let's talk about eggs versus follicles and timing. So in the 40 plus support section of the Fertile Lifestyle course, it says it takes 3 months for eggs, but I also remember you saying it can take 9 months for follicles. Could you please explain? Could you then talk about some supplements from NAC to folic acid? I want to talk about my diet habits, some music that you mentioned called Kirtan. You mention a workbook frequently. And where is this workbook? That's a common question. It is actually in your intro. The workbook that I make reference to, it's huge. If you printed out all the sheets, it's bigger than a lever arch file of documents. So the workbook is actually broken up into all the text that you see in the 12 main modules of the Fertile Lifestyle course. And then meditation postures, yes, you're concerned about having to lie down because it's more comfortable, but are you still getting the benefits? Let me respond to all these amazing questions. So yes, you are absolutely correct. There are different timelines for eggs versus follicles. Follicles take 9 months, okay? They form over 9 months. So when you are pregnant, we know that it's from a follicle from 9 months ago. We're looking at your lifestyle habits 9 months prior to conception. Egg health, they focus on just the final 3 months. So we really want to go with follicle health. You know, your AMH, follicle health, the amount of follicles that are there. We're looking at follicles. Many people focus on egg health and 3 month protocols around that, but really it's got to be a 9 month protocol, okay? So follicles are the sacs in the ovaries that carry and protect the eggs. They begin their journey about 9 months before ovulation. This is when they are recruited, nourished, and influenced by your hormones, nutrition, and environment. Eggs go through the final maturation phase in the last 3 months of that process. This is why I often say, give yourself 3 months minimum with this Fertile Lifestyle course and these changes. So, you know, if you're struggling with fertility, you don't have to fully try until after we've had those 3 months together, integrating this course, my support, my guidance, the supplements, the detox protocols, everything all together. Then give it a go. I find that people that try to jump the gun with IUI and things like that, they often fail because they're not creating enough of a strong epigenetic foundation first. So, you know, eggs go through their final maturation phase in the last 3 months of that process. So I encourage the full 9 months to see the deepest improvements in egg quality and ovarian function for women over 40. Because as you are older, our metabolism slows down. So someone who's doing this course and they're 30, 33, 35, they get pregnant within 2 months. Okay, they're integrating all these things, but boom, they're done. Because the shifts happen rapidly. Over 40, it can take, of course, the full 9 months because those follicles haven't been well formed prior to coming to me and working with this protocol. So in short, 3 months, you can expect eggs to already function better, but after 9 months, you'll see the true transformation because you've influenced the whole follicle journey. The supplements you want to know about, starting with NAC. It's a very beneficial antioxidant. It will support egg health. I do recommend it for women trying to conceive naturally or via IVF or IUI, especially if there are concerns about oxidative stress. You know, if you're stressed, there's oxidative stress. If you've had inflammatory foods, you're going to have oxidative stress. So the two biggest causes of infertility, oxidative stress and inflammation. So yes, NAC is highly, highly, highly beneficial. NAD is also another one, different to NAC, but you didn't ask about that, so I'll leave that out for now. Folic acid versus folate. Folate is the natural form, it's bioavailable. Folic acid is synthetic. Doctors recommend folic acid because they don't study nutrition. but folate is what you need, and methylfolate if you have the MTHFR gene mutation or you struggle with detoxification. So ashwagandha. If you're already taking Shine or Ivitzi, you do not need additional ashwagandha because Shine has organic ashwagandha. Ivitzi has the KM66 ashwagandha, which is the best. So you can also have the organic ashwagandha, very high quality, in the Zen Sacred Cacao. So if you're having these products, you don't want to have too much ashwagandha. It's an adaptogen. Your body will take what it needs because it's intelligent and excrete what it doesn't. But some people can get very, very sensitive with it and it can really skyrocket and drop their hormones. So be monitoring your ashwagandha intake with how your hormones are fluctuating and see that you're on the right dosage. But the best thing in that is the body testing, module 3. Speaking of which, module 3, in the downloadable section, we now have the full supplement guide. So not just for what's in the Powerfully Pure range, but you know, basically every other supplement you can think of. Estroblock. This is usually a short to medium term supplement. It does help the liver to clear estrogen, and it helps to metabolize and restore balance, particularly where there is PMS, fibroids, endometriosis, adenomyosis, any kind of inflammation caused by estrogen dominance. Once the balance is achieved, we taper it off. However, it only remains a short-term or medium-term supplement if you change your lifestyle. So if you stop giving yourself exposure to phthalates and microplastics, now if you're having seafood, you're going to be consuming microplastics, so you're going to need to continue the Estroblock. Any kind of fake estrogens, estrogen exposure, you're going to need to continue having the Estroblock. So of course you stop when you're pregnant, but up until that, you'd probably want to stay, especially the woman who's asking, I think your fertility really is picking up very quickly. You're very, very focused and I can really feel a change, and I get intuitive messages in the bathroom. And when I was putting my makeup on this morning, I was thinking of you and I got this message that it won't be long until you're pregnant. So, I have these intuitive messages and I really feel that you need to be on it up until that pregnancy point. And then of course, we can manage things later on when you're breastfeeding. Okay, omega-3. The Norsen is a clean fish oil providing EPA and DHA directly. Marine phytoplankton, however, is quite different. It's a microalgae. It's not only containing EPA, DHA precursors, but also trace minerals, antioxidants, and ATP cursors, which is going to energize the cell, that support the mitochondrial energy. If your budget allows, I do recommend both. A third-party tested oil-based supplement, fish oil supplement, third-party tested for heavy metals and microplastics, obviously. If it's sold for children, if it's suitable supplement. Okay, my internet dropped. Hopefully it's okay. I was just saying that adult fish oil supplements are more toxic than children. So you get a child's one. Normally they're shaped like a fish or something, but they're going to be cleaner if you can't find one that says it is third-party tested against microplastics and heavy metals. So if budget permits, please do both. So basically, the reason why the marine phytoplankton is clean is because it's grown it's grown in water that is from a well that is around 200 years old. And that well is clean. There's no microplastics, there's no heavy metals, there's no pollutants. So that's why this particular marine phytoplankton is supreme. And I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Okay, the videos where I mentioned music that can really calm the nervous system and activate deep healing is kirtan. It's like ecstatic chant music. Now, years ago when I was first exposed to it, I was very rigid, very Catholic, and thinking, I don't even know what they're saying. It could be something satanic. I don't want to get involved in that. And then I soon studied it. I studied Sanskrit when I was training to be a therapeutic hatha yoga instructor. And I realized that these are natural language songs. So when we speak a natural language, and the three natural languages, well, original was Aramaic, and then it deviated into Hebrew and Arabic, Arabic meaning to speak clearly, and Sanskrit. They're the only natural languages. The rest are all bastardized, doctored, and they prevent us from perfect health when we speak them. So when you speak Sanskrit and you sing Sanskrit, it has a vibration that creates geometric shapes in the body that raises our vibration. And I've included a list of my favorite kirtan artists. And you might go, oh my gosh, this is really terrible music. Or you might like it. Now, there's a lot of variety here. A lot of variety. Now, the second one I mentioned after Jai Uttal is Donna Delore, and she was one of Madonna's backup singers. She's very good. Krishna Das, Wah. Wah's quite common, popular. I used to always play Wah 20 years ago when I ran my yoga studio. But this is like, classic, uplifting tunes. So I always, have a little dance, lift my spirits with a bit of kirtan, maybe once a week or something. But yes, ecstatic chanting, that's what it is. And there's lots of different types. So have a little listen, and you can deviate on YouTube. There's some horrendous ones on YouTube as well. These are my particular favorites. Love to hear your feedback on it. Because remember, sound is a master healer, okay? We heal through sound. That is the future of all healing. So find a sound that raises your vibration. And I already mentioned about the workbook, how it is just spread across the 12 modules. So when I do a video in, say, module 2, and I go, now refer to the workbook, it means refer to the text in module 2. I should probably call it workbook for module 2, actually. That's what we'll do. We'll relabel it. I can't believe I've only just thought of it, because I've been confusing people for many years, more than a decade, by calling it workbook in my videos, but not having it written. So thank you again, lovely lady. You've come into this course, and I can see some things that just need to be fine-tuned. So it seems to be a very reciprocal relationship that we've got going on. So much appreciated. Meditation posture. Yes, it is perfectly fine to lie down if you have back pain, if it's uncomfortable being seated. When you are seated, your chakras, the vortices of energy that move, are stacked accordingly. And when we lie down, we're more likely to fall asleep, and then you aren't actually meditating, you're sleeping. So it's a different thing. If you're listening to something, it will penetrate into the subconscious, which is what we want, but we also want to be actively meditating as opposed to just sleeping. So comfort is key. You cannot meditate and you cannot manifest and focus on your manifestations unless you are in a state of being comfortable. So comfort takes precedence, so then you can go into multi-dimensions from there. Thank you for asking that question. I'm sure a lot of people have that question. Diet habits. And you're talking about bread and how it is so culturally intertwined with Germany. Now, bread can feel like a cultural staple in Germany because it is woven into breakfast and dinner traditions. You've already made fantastic changes, and I do mean that from the bottom of my heart. Having your breakfast now with quinoa and fruit or eggs, and lunch with fish or meat and vegetables, and for dinner, instead of the bread and other types of carbs, which is going to just, raise your blood sugar levels, you are focusing on more nutrient-dense foods for fertility. So, some dish ideas. Warming vegetable soup or stew with chicken, lamb or beef. Steamed vegetables with salmon or trout, and a good drizzle of olive oil or ghee or butter. Quinoa or buckwheat or cauliflower rice with roasted vegetables and avocado. Because I know you're not carnivore, obviously. A lighter option could be chia pudding, seed crackers with avocado, nut butter. Careful of nut butter, we don't want to have too much because it can oxidize. Ideally, your evening meal should still be warm and protein rich and fat rich. Personally, what I recommend for your routine: morning, chia pudding, quinoa porridge or eggs, lunch and dinner, 2 warm meals with protein, vegetables and healthy fats, no bread, no sugar. The sooner you give your body what it needs, the sooner it can cope. Now you might think, but my great grandmother and her daughters were all fine and they were eating this food. It's very different food. They weren't exposing themselves to other herbicides, fungicides, pesticides. They were having more of a natural grain. Now you see how they're trying to push farming, and they're getting hybrid crops in. It's different, very different. And this accumulation of toxins makes it more difficult for your body to deal with fertility. So we can't really compare ourselves to our great-grandmothers, grandmothers, and even mothers. You know, half our mothers were brought up on organic food because that was just normal back then. And now it's definitely not. And it makes a huge difference with your fertility. Someone said, I'm trying to download the Awaken Fertility app on my laptop, but not sure how to do it. Could you assist me? And I gave some instructions. If you're watching this, you've already got the app. Okay, so someone posted a question in the Fertility Help group yesterday, but I wanted to bring it across here so I could go into more detail and answer it. You can always post stuff into the Fertility Help group as well. I think some of you are doing it anonymously, which is fine. I don't get back to you immediately there. I always leave it open for people to respond. It's always, you know, a few days, and it's far more vague an answer than what you get here. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad you found this so helpful. Thank you for your feedback whilst watching live. Hello, Fiona, please, some guidance. My morning temperature is low, 36.5 to 36.6. How can I improve it? Also, how can I support ovulation? Can it happen with a low temperature? And how can I support ovulation? Thank you so much. Low morning temperature and ovulation. A waking temperature around 36.5 is on the lower side. Ideally, your basal body temperature, which we call BBT, before ovulation should be close to 36.6 to 36.8 degrees Celsius. Then rise by 0.3 to 0.5, half a degree, after ovulation. So I've answered this from all perspectives, from the Western perspective to the traditional Chinese medicine perspective, and this is my guide for you. Key products that I'll be mentioning, I've got the links to them as well. Castor Oil Kit from the Powerfully Pure range, Key Yoga for Fertility class in the Powerfully Pure range, Powerfully Pure Marine Phytoplankton, Powerfully Pure MSM, Thai-back ginger. Now, let's start with a Western perspective. Low temperatures often reflect thyroid issues, okay? If you have thyroid issues, it's going to be very difficult for you to hold a pregnancy. Thyroid issues, but specifically low free T3 conversion. And even if your TSH looks normal or good on a test, if you haven't been tested for free T3, that's where the problem often lies, and it lies undetected. So low progesterone could be the issue after ovulation, preventing the expected temperature to rise. Slow metabolism due to nutrient deficiencies. This is why we have the MSM to help speed up metabolism, and it's got to be the right quality MSM for that, not with petrochemicals because it's going to be toxic and inflammatory. But we have nutrient deficiencies could be causing slow metabolism, namely iron, selenium, zinc, iodine. Or you may even have adrenal fatigue. Adrenal fatigue would indicate, you know, a bit of your eyebrow hair loss, especially at the ends of the eyebrow, hair thinning, fat around the midriff because your metabolism is slowing down, the adrenals are connected to the thyroid, etc. So if you're having these things, you're feeling tired. Normally with adrenal fatigue, you're tired but wired. You're tired all day. And then about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, you're really energized. like I just want to sleep. I'm so exhausted. And that's, I gave myself adrenal fatigue, running businesses, working 7 days a week, and being vegan. Couldn't do it. Just my body just shut down for 3 months. So I know ladies, I know what it's like. Okay, from a traditional Chinese medicine perspective, low temperature indicates kidney yang deficiency. So the yang is the fire, the masculine, short, sharp burst energy. Kidney we need. Kidney energy is the vitality energy, which is what we need for fertility. So the kidney fire, the kidney yang is deficient. You don't have enough kidney energy. So the kidneys are the root of reproductive fire and fertility. If it's weak, warmth and ovulation, power will decline. Key stagnation, so the life force energy is stagnated. Blocked life force energy means poor circulation. You'll see that in cold hands, cold feet, cold womb. Cold in the womb means insufficient warmth in the uterus, which can interfere with ovulation and implantation, which is why you never wear midriff tops. You're always using hot water bottles in that area. You're keeping that area warm, and you're having warming foods. You're also doing the key yoga for fertility exercises to get the oxygen to the reproductive system and getting all of that warm and juicy. So yes, in answer to your question, ovulation can still happen with lower temperatures, but the quality of the ovulation, like the egg release, the cervical mucus, the progesterone production, may be weaker. So how do we improve your temperature and support ovulation? Thyroid and nutrient support. Ensure that you have ferritin above 70 and adequate selenium, zinc, and iodine. You might want to do a stool test, a gut health test to see that you are absorbing nutrients, or a blood test to see your nutritional panel. You want to have warm foods, warm drinks, so avoid salads, smoothies, and iced water. Have things like bone broth, ginger, cinnamon, lamb, stews, soups. Have healthy fats, daily avocado, depending. For you could have daily avocado, but not for most people, okay? Coconut oil, olive oil, ghee, butter, tallow, dripping, all the good fats. Castor Oil Kit. This will boost pelvic circulation. This is what we need, especially if you're doing the Bloom Your Womb 30-day protocol, which I highly, highly recommend. I've made it super affordable. It's like $1 a day or €1 a day. Yours to keep forever, drip fed into your inbox. This, with the castor oil pack, is going to help activate your deeper connection to your womb, getting it working better, getting circulation happening better, getting ovulation to occur. Because it's not just the womb, it's also going to be warming up your ovaries. And then we also want to detox the liver as well, which processes 80% of our hormones. So, it's really easy to unblock the stagnation with the castor oil kit. 3 days on, 3 days off, avoid the full moon and avoid your menstrual cycle. Add evening primrose oil, please, just the first half of your cycle only. This will improve ovulation quality and cervical mucus. The Key Yoga for Fertility class, as you know, it enhances your circulatory system, your digestive system, your reproductive system. It balances your nervous system. So please, please, please do that daily. You can do a 7-minute segment daily. You can do a 40-minute segment daily. Do something to get that area moving. Plus a rebounder. Help with lymphatic drainage. So you start, your lymphatic drainage points around the ears, the neck, the clavicle, the armpits, I should say, the belly, the groin, and then make sure you're bouncing on your calves, so lifting up your heels and dropping your heels so that you can get that lymph moving and help with circulation as well. Liver support, absolutely no sugar. This is why I recommend a clean ketovore diet, animal proteins, healthy fats, fibrous low carb vegetables, small amounts, very small amounts, and no processed carbs or sugar. Your cycle phase plan for warmer temperatures and stronger ovulation. Cycle day 1 to 7, menstruation, early follicular stage. During that time, we want to focus on nourishing the blood and rebuilding energy. So having warmth, iron-rich foods, beef, lamb, beetroot, broth, gentle movements, walking, stretching, qigong, and of course we can do Key Yoga the whole way through. Castor oil kit, not during bleeding, obviously. Cycle day 8, during ovulation. Some women don't like to do the castor oil kit then. I don't see there's a problem with it, but if you feel it's not ideal for you, then don't do it. You are your body's best doctor. Focus on building yin. Okay, this is egg quality, cervical mucus and circulation. This yin energy, it's the consistent flow. Okay, it's not stopping. It's consistent. It's nurturing and nourishing. So you can really nourish and nurture you. Focus on what nourishes you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's going to penetrate into your reproductive system. Evening primrose oil, stop after ovulation. Castor oil kit every other day just before ovulation is another option. I don't think you need to. I think you can keep carrying on, 3 days on, 3 days off. But like I said, body is your best doctor. And plenty of hydration, warm teas. You can have raspberry leaf tea, ginger, nettle is rich in vitamin C. Now, the next steps. Your ovulation window around cycle day 12 to 16. Obviously, it varies by cycle and varies by person. We want to support life force, energy flow, and warmth. So no castor oil during ovulation days for most people because they feel like that is a thing for them, but not essential. For you to help with your connection to your body, I feel you're needing more of a connection. So if you're not getting those intuitive messages, I've said no castor oil kit during your ovulation days. But most people who are more au fait with the language of their body, more intuitive, they've done a lot more of the intuition activation aspects of this course, you'll know. Gentle movement is essential, which is why yoga for fertility is the best. Intercourse timed with fertile mucus, and looking for other trigger signs, and also when you're feeling in the mood. That's a huge sign. Post-ovulation, luteal phase, focus on holding warmth, support progesterone and implantation. Switch from evening primrose oil to more omega-3s, and remember to include your shine and Evitzi, especially during this phase if you're not already having it regularly. Add warming herbs and foods like Ceylon cinnamon, Thai black ginger, as well as normal ginger, turmeric, or curcumin if you're having supplements. Best option for fertility is the Powerfully Pure brand Thai black ginger though. Keep going on with your yoga for fertility class. Keep your abdomen warm with hot water bottles. You can use a moxa stick in the lower belly where you get like a tube to burn the moxa. We've got it goes into the type of wand where you're smoking that area. Smells nice as well. So you can buy them yourselves or get it with a acupuncturist that you might be seeing. You need to support your liver. Clean ketovore, no sugar, cooked vegetables like cauliflower, broccoli, kale, cabbage. You never have them raw, ever, ever, ever. If you've got thyroid problems, you never, ever have them raw. Make sure they are cooked. You can have dandelion tea, very good for you. And also milk thistle, going to help support your liver. For you, I'd even recommend a liver flush. That's for women who aren't going to be pregnant in the next 2 months. Okay, the chances are quite slim. So if we're not going to be pregnant the next 2 months, do a liver flush. If you think you might be pregnant, don't do a liver flush. If you think you're close to pregnancy, don't do a liver flush. So if your temperature remains low, despite all of this support that I've just given you, it's worth running a full thyroid panel. TSH, free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and antibodies. At the same time, combining Western hormone support with traditional Chinese medicine practices and your life force energy, the key circulation, gives you the best chances of stronger ovulation and healthier egg release. There is no reason why this protocol would not work because it works for every single woman. Hi Fiona, I want to ask about my insemination cycle. And there's some other topics as well, ranging from having raspberry ice cream to emotional well-being and mindset. So let me answer them for you. Insemination cycle details. LH, your LH of 15.2 on cycle day 14 is not too high. This is exactly what we expect as your natural LH surge approaches. Now, the clinic likely flagged it because they want to monitor closely around the trigger, but it's actually reassuring to see that your body is responding. Another reason why I really feel that you are very ready to have this baby. Okay, vitral trigger timing. Yes, ovulation normally happens around 36 to 40 hours after a trigger. If you felt ovulation symptoms on the morning of insemination, it's possible that your body and the trigger work together. Many clinics use a 30 to 32 hour window for insemination to catch the egg. If you consistently feel ovulation earlier, you could discuss extending the timing closer to the 36 hour next time you do it, if you need to do it next time. The best approach is to combine your body signals with their protocol. So your body is your best doctor. They're looking at you as a stock standard human being. You're not stock standard, okay? You need to speak up. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone testing. Your clinic is correct. FSH is only meaningful when tested early in the cycle day 2 or 3. By mid-cycle, LH and E2 are the relevant markers, so you Don't need to bother about FSH this time. Progesterone timing test. Progesterone is ideally tested 7 days post-ovulation, but if they do it at day 8, it will still show whether you've had a strong luteal rise or not. So don't worry, it's okay. It will still show something that you need to see. Just make sure it's done during the mid-luteal phase and not at the very end. That's the main criteria. Basal body temperature, BBT. After ovulation, your temperature should rise by, like I said earlier, 0.3 to half a degree Celsius and stay consistently higher until your next period. A 1-day dip does not mean failure. Implantation dips are common and temperature can fluctuate with stress, with sleep or environment. Use BBT, the basal body temperature, only as a guide and only if it doesn't stress you. If it stresses you out, you become obsessed. No, stop. You need to be empowered. You need to believe and trust that what you are doing works. And that was another thing that came up for me when I was thinking of you in the bathroom this morning. You need to trust what you're doing, not think, I've got to keep doing all this stuff. I've got to keep doing all this stuff. You're doing all the stuff that works, but do it from a place of, it now works. I've now shifted. This has created a more fertile state for me. I'm now fertile. I'm now ready. And really believe that. It's important. Emotional well-being and mindset. It is very natural during the 2-week wait for the mind to spiral, and you are doing everything you can already. So just encourage yourself to keep using meditation, keep grounding. This will shorten the stressful bursts. Yes, carry on with your medical grade reishi from the Powerfully Pure range. Explore kirtan, like I mentioned earlier. Carry on with the Yoga for Fertility. Visualize. You are the master of your world. Visualize, creatively visualize the outcome you want. Stop focusing on worst case scenario or you will create that. Now, when you combine all these things, over time it will train your nervous system to do a reset. You can do breath work to do reset for the nervous system as well. Food reaction question. You said you had ice cream, which is just frozen raspberries, sugar and water, and then you had abdominal pains. And my question is, was the raspberry ice cream organic? If it's not organic, then yes, you are becoming more sensitive to the herbicides, fungicides, pesticides. Your body's screaming at you that you've just poisoned it. You're destroying the gut flora and it's going into spasm. However, even if it was organic, I would say it's definitely the sugar. Sugar acts like razor blades, like I mentioned earlier. Your body doesn't want it. And it could even be a sugar overload, because I know you like your carbs. I know they're healthy carbs, but I know you really like your carbs, and that's all sugar, sugar, sugar. You have a lot of carbohydrate-based vegetables as well. You know, myoinositol, another sugar. All these sugars add up, and fertility doesn't like sugar. So the fact that you're now really training your mind and body to focus on fertility, your body's telling you when you have something that deviates, it doesn't like it, and it will tell you instantly. It will show you instantly, which is a great thing. So don't think, oh my gosh, I'm now so sensitive, I can't eat what I like. No, eating what you like was preventing you from having the baby that you want. So it's a beautiful thing. Want to love your body. Thank it for doing this. And this is going to help you stay on track. Your body is signaling beautifully to you. Last question. I don't normally do this, but I found it quite interesting because no one's ever asked me for a recommendation for a saffron supplement. And normally it's like, can you recommend a certain supplement? And it's like, yeah, there's, find it in your own country and show me the ingredients and I can check, because it's like a minefield. But saffron supplements, I thought, well, that's very interesting. And saffron, okay, the best saffron is the ones that have been tested and proven that they are high quality extracts, ideally hand-picked. And one of the best places to do it is in Iran. So it will help with menstrual pain, hormonal balance, mood, and overall menstrual health. It supports anxiety, depression, and a lot of people also say it helps with sleep. So it doesn't make you tired in the day, but it helps your body to reset, like the reishi, the medical grade reishi. So I found 2 different types. One was an American one. It's got all the tests. It's, GMP certified. It's ISO certified, third-party purity tested, ideal formulation. However, it has rice flour, but it's non-genetically modified rice flour. So you could have it, but then you're also having sugar because it's rice, but it's small, okay? Very, very small amount, so your body could tolerate it. If you want one without the sugar, but hasn't been so rigorously tested, but is from Iran, is clean, is pure, has all these positive reviews, hand harvested, etc., then you could go with the Viridian one. Now, I've included some links. So you can see a link from the puremicronutrients.com, the American one that has the saffron, or in the UK, you've got botanicalhealth.co.uk. They're selling the Viridian brand saffron. A lot of companies sell Viridian. I used to sell Viridian. But these guys seem to be the cheapest for the saffron at the moment. They're doing some kind of special. Both companies have discounts at the moment, so feel free to dive on in, have a look, depending on what country you're from. And the benefits seem quite good. I know that it is the most expensive herb on the planet. My husband always makes delicious risotto with saffron, which of course, I'm trying to be more carnivore. I've had once this year, and probably it will be only once this year. So yes, they're the little things that I like to share with you. So someone had to leave early. They were finding it very helpful. And that is it in a nutshell. So thank you for watching. We've been here for just over an hour. Always a pleasure. And I want to thank you all for listening to the replay. And going forward, some people are still struggling with subtitles. So what I'm going to do, we upload this onto YouTube. If you want certain subtitles and a transcript, you can see a transcript just by clicking the base of the video in the app. However, I'm going to be adjusting the transcript going forward from today, the 2nd of September. So the transcript is exact, not made up words, but exact. And then from there, you can copy that transcript if you can't get the subtitles into, the big thumbs up, you can copy that into a translation program for you if you're wanting to know what I'm saying in your home language. So that's going to be the best way forward. So look at the little black box on the app under the normal video. If you don't speak English and if you want the transcript, or as your, English is your first language, or you want the transcript because you didn't quite catch something that I said, the YouTube version that we're going to be adding will be 100% correct. For some reason, I can't edit the other transcript for the paid service, but the free service, you can with YouTube. Anyway, interesting times. So thank you everyone for watching. Big love. I'll see you next week and looking forward to that. Bye.